was Rindercella. Rindercella lived with her ugly other and her two sickly esters. In the same corn country, there lived a very handsome Hens. He was going to throw fancy falls, so he invited all the people for riles and mounds, especially all the pitch reapers. Rindercella's ugly other and her two sickly esters went off to buy some drancy fesses to wear to the fancy fall because Rindercella couldn't go because all she had to wear was some old early dags. Come the night of the fancy fall, of course Rindercella couldn't go, and she just kept down and shrine. And she was a ketting there shrine when along comes her Jerry Mudfather. And he touched her with his magic command, and there appeared before her kig boats and Hicks White's horses. He said, "Now Rindercella, you be sure to be home before midnight, or I'll turn you into a tunky." So Rindercella arrived at the fancy fall, and the Prince of Hens come running down to meet her because he'd been watching from behind the window window. And they danced all night until midnight, and they loved and fun. Suddenly the clock struck midnight, and Rindercella staged down the rear, and just as she beached the rottom, she slopped her dripper. The next day, this poor old Prince of Hens had to run all over this corn country looking for the beautiful girl that had slopped her dripper. He come to Rindercella's house, and he tried it on her ugly other, and it fit and did. He tried it on her two sickly esters, and it fit and did. He tried it on Rindercella, and it fit did. It was exactly the sight rise. And well, they were married and lived happily ever after. And now the story of the Maury is this: if you're ever invited to a fancy fall, and you want a Prince of Hens to loll and fun with you, don't forget to slop your dripper.
All right. That's good, bro. Do you know another one?
A long time ago, in a far-off fan, there lived a very beautiful princess. And it host happened that there was a ugly old witch. And she didn't like her because the beautiful princess was just as good as she was great. So the ugly old witch passed the evil L and made the beautiful princess slow to keep. Then went around reeking with laughter and belling everybody that the beautiful princess would slow on keeping until Bumsoddy loving fun with her and kissed her so she could ache and walk. And chortled the ugly old witch, Bonoddy will all in fun with Bennyoddy who's a teep all this line. And so the beautiful princess became known as Beep and Slooty. One day a buller freshman caught by the stassel. And when Bonoddy answered his knock at the door, he looked in the window and saw Beep and Slooty. Well, he didn't care whether she was neeping or slot. When he saw how where she was, he gloped the brass and blind into the kid room where Beep and Slooty was sloughing the seat. So he canted a place on the nip of her toes, and Beep and Slooty opened her eyes. "Guy Moodness," she said, "my mare must be a hess." "It certainly says," said the buller freshman. Suddenly the buller freshman knelt on his knees and took her by the tan. "I'm not really a buller freshman," he said. "I'm really a hung and prancing Hens. But a ugly old witch could have purse on me and canaged me from my bed till I could sell a Beep and Slooty a buller fresh. You have broken the bell. Will you marry me?" Beep and Slooty said, "Now strisn't this ain't. You have broken my bell too. Yes, I will marry you because we have some cut your mama." And mo they were married. And one of the dirst things they fed was to have the ugly old witch pressed into kissing where she didn't coo any more dicked weeds. And so remember this: if you ever fall under a feeble L and you want to wind up a threaten on a song, don't ever chas up the pants to kiss the Beep and Slooty.
When you grow up, can you say that?
I don't care if I don't.
That's right.
Charge battery up.